Cisco and HashiCorp's Terraform series, Infrastructure as Code, focusing on day 0 and day 1 deployments. In this video, we're going to focus on host objects. So let's get to it. Let's jump to our DevNet Terraform provider, FMC, and let's look at the host object. So you can see here, we're pulling some data, we're creating a new resource, and we're outputting both the data that we pulled as well as the new data that we created or new resource that we created. There's var.tf and Terraform TF vars. We've seen those many times. Let's jump into main.tf, the meat of all of this. And we can see we're creating 2 objects, and these are going to be umbrella objects or DNS servers, and then we're going to output both of them. Pretty simple. Let's get to it. So let's get out of here and let's go ahead and initialize Terraform. And then we'll go ahead and run the apply. And apply will give us an opportunity to look over the plan and say yes or no. We're going to go ahead and say yes. We're creating the objects, 2 of them done. Let's go have a peek within Firepower, make sure that that is true. And look at that, there's 2 right at the top that we just created. Obviously you see 2 that I already have here that were umbrella objects as well, but that has nothing to do with what we're doing here today. So let's go ahead and destroy those 2 objects. There's the items we're going to destroy, but we don't have an opportunity to say no because we did the auto approve, that auto response capability. They are now deleted. Let's have a quick peek. And look at that. Done. Again, the power of Firepower and Terraform. In this video, we're going to focus on port objects. All right, let's jump right to it. Let's go to GitHub and look at DevNet's contribution here, and you can see they've got a couple things happening here. They're looking at an existing object, and then they're recreating it with a new name, and then you can see here they've remmed out a brand new created object. And then we've got some outputs. All right, let's modify this slightly for our use case. Let's look at var.tf, that's our variables, and then the the Terraform TF vars, which is the data supporting the variables, and then main.tf. This is where everything's going to happen. We've remmed out pretty much everything. We're just going to create a very simple object using TCP port 8888, and then we're going to output those objects. And that's it. It's a pretty simple, so you can have a collection of objects that you want to create all in this piece of code, and go ahead and deploy. So let's initialize Terraform. Enter a password here. And initialized, let's go ahead and run our apply. Now apply is going to give us an opportunity to look at the plan that we're going to end up deploying. If we're happy with that, we can go ahead and hit yes. If not, you could select no. The nice thing too is when you initialize and when you do plan and apply, it looks to make sure the code is satisfying the needs of the deployment. So let's go ahead and hit yes. We're good with this. We're creating an object and we're outputting the object. And it should be done shortly. Let's see here. All right. Still creating. Again, on that Intel NUC, running VM Workstation with with ESXi, and on top of that, a bunch of virtual machines, including Firepower Management Center and Firepower Threat Defense. Now we're searching 8888, and you can see there we go. That port is called out. It is TCP. Let's go ahead and destroy that. Auto approve, so we won't get a chance to look at the plan before we deploy it. And that's it. Bingo bango, done. Let's quickly refresh, and that's it's gone. Magic. In this video, we're going to create port objects like we've done before, but also add them to a port group that we create. So let's jump into the code itself on GitHub. And we can see a couple things here. We can see that we're creating a object. We are creating both a TCP object and an ICMP object. Then we're creating a group and we are assigning those objects to that group. So let's check out our code. What are we trying to drive towards? So let's look at var.tf, Terraform's.tf vars, which includes the data supporting the variables in var.tf. And let's look at the code itself. So we've got, the provider. We've seen this. We've got the details there. We also got the two objects. So we're going to create a web port, an ICMP port, and we're going to add that to that new port group called T port group 1. And then we've got some outputs at the end. Pretty easy. All right, let's go ahead and run Terraform initialization. And from here, let's go ahead and run Terraform apply. This gives us a chance to look at the plan before we go ahead and accept or decline moving forward. In this case, everything looks good. These are the things that are going to be added. Let's go ahead and hit yes. And this will take a few seconds, especially in my environment with an Intel NUC running multiple different virtual machines on a mini PC. All right, there's the output. Looks good. It says it created it, but let's not trust it. Let's go and validate. All right, we'll do a quick filter here. T's not the greatest filter, but anyways, it's works enough for me, I guess. But TICMP, we've got T web 888. There's the ICMP there. Destination unreachable, port unreachable, and then you've got them grouped together. So perfect, that worked. Let's go ahead and destroy the work that we just done. And obviously this will take a few seconds to do. There's the objects that they're going to remove, or Terraform's going to remove. It's going through that process. All right, let's have a quick refresh of the objects within the port object tab here. Let's go ahead and quickly search. And you can see already we don't see anything on that last page where the objects were kept. Pretty easy. Port objects, creating them, and then dumping them into a port object group.